My name is Shaimaa Obaid. I'm the product marketing manager for nVent, coming from Belgium, Leuven, to discuss if your hydrogen process temperature is guaranteed all the way, or if your electrical power connection secure. You see this already there, if you look at C104. So we will dive in more at your hydrogen process temperatures if it's guaranteed, but if you have also about the power electrical connections, please come and visit us. It's very easy and reachable. So quickly about our company, nVent, we are global leaders for electrical connections and protections. We are a company of 3.3 billion with more than 100 years of brand legacy. Of course, we work on 3 segments. Thermal management, where we will focus on, and you will see also our heat tracing there. We have another 2 segments, electrical and fastening solutions and enclosures. You see our heat tracing. We will explain more about it. It's our invention since more than 50 years. But what is electrical heat tracing in principle? It's basically application of heat on a pipe or your equipment to replace heat loss. You need that for freeze protection. You need that to maintain your instruments and protected. You need that for tank heating. So many applications all over the different industries, including the hydrogen value chain. What if it fails? It's terrible. So even for gas, like here you have a gas hydrates, it blocks for oil, especially for high viscosity oils, for fats, for grease, from industrial kitchens. If it blocks, then it stops your whole value chain. So another example, Joule-Thomson, for example, effect. All of a sudden, it happens all the time in our processes. Pressure drops down, temperature drops down. We have some kind of icing around our valves, around our pipes, utilities. Our fire system may stop working. You have the ice click effect, which is really dangerous if you are getting into a building. That's why you really need heat tracing. We said we are the inventors of self-regulating heat tracing. This is our main activities since more than 50 years. What is it? It's basically heat is generated when electric current passes through our semiconductor heating core. Our semiconductor heating core is about a mix of polymers with black carbon. This kind of secret recipe, how it works, when the pipe is cold, you see that we have more current going through, more heat generated. As far as the pipe temperature goes up, it extracts with less current, with more heat generated. It regulates itself through the process. We don't only have regulating heating cables, we also have others. Anything in the range between 5 degrees C and 650 degrees C, we can help you out there. Can we help you with higher temperatures? Yes, please reach out to us. This is an example for water for freeze protection, 5 degrees C. The picture you see to the right, it's unfinished installation. Normally, you don't see our cable. You install and you forget, because it will be definitely covered with a thermal insulation with the kind of metal cladding to be completely finished. And in this picture, where we maintain from 50 to 70 for the biofuel, for example, you see some where it's completely covered below and some still unfinished. We don't only work on low temperatures. Bitumen, for example, 160 degrees C, we can help you out. And we don't only work for cold environments. This is an example of a 35 kilometers pipeline in Qatar in a very warm climate where we needed to maintain at 150 degrees C for sulfur. We all know at certain point we don't need sulfur, but fertilizers, in Qatar they don't need it, in Morocco they need it, they transfer it and they use it for fertilizers. We often have in all our processes the anti-condensation, for example. We also need to make sure, this is an example of a conic type filter, where you need to make sure to prevent any condensation where your process will be blocked. But then the question is, where do you have heat tracing in your hydrogen value chain? Where do you need it? In which stages to maintain, to make sure your hydrogen value chain delivering and with no failure with the efficiency you are looking for? We know that 90%, 95% today, we have it from the gray hydrogen. Our transition now to the blue hydrogen, and we're already investing a lot for the green hydrogen. Let's discuss first about the gray hydrogen. You see here, you have in the steam methane reforming process, you have steam, you have natural gas. That means you need to steam the freeze protection for the steam lines. You need to do, of course, also treatment, because natural gas is not always clean. It depends from the resources. So you need to freeze protect at 5 degrees C. You need also to do a process maintenance temperature at 30, 80. It depends which process you have. On the other hand, you have the exhaust filters that we talked about. You also need to make sure that you have anti-condensation at 250 degrees C. Of course, we have many examples, many projects. This is just one of them, the chemical part, hydrogen, for the hydrogen in Hungary with Air Liquide, where we did heat tracing for, of course, the steam methane reforming units, PSA, utilities, chemical feed also units, all there if you need it to protect it, protect your instrumentation, you maintain your process at certain temperature. Definitely you need to go with heat tracing. Then we come to the blue hydrogen. What is the blue hydrogen? It's about the gray hydrogen, and then you add the carbon capturing systems. You need to store it, dump it to very deep, or you need to utilize it and store it. So blue hydrogen basically is what you have in the gray hydrogen, and you add the carbon capturing storage units and utilization and storage. And there, for example, you have the amine absorbers. You also need to maintain the temperature at 50 degrees C. Additionally, you have the steam boilers to bring up the temperature. It's typically an outside installation. So, of course, you need freeze protection. What else? You have the hydrogen leaving out. What do we need? It's always carrying still some percentages of still of H2O. You need the DXO, and you need the hydrators, the dryers at 250 degrees C to remove the oxygen and to remove the H2O. Examples, many. One of them still even ongoing, where we do heat tracing for including the SMR unit, and also, of course, for the CCS units. This example, we have it with Shell, we have it in Canada, and where we need, of course, to, again, heat trace the different lines for the SMR unit and the CCS units. And this one we call it blue, like you know, because then we don't release the CO2, we utilize it or we dump it. We come to the green hydrogen. So, it's green from the name. We use power, or we use solar system, and we use water. Water means freeze protection. And then you have the hydrogen again, where you hear it's green, you release the O2, but you need to make sure that the hydrogen is pure, and there where you need again to have the DXO dryers. And also, everyone now is busy, how can we transfer this hydrogen? We have ammonia, for example, you have methanol. Many people are busy trying to reach for different kind of liquid organic hydrogen carriers. But all those lines where you need to maintain it at minus 33, name it, it depends where shall we reach, you need a heat tracing to make sure that you maintain the temperature you need and you transfer it using that carrier. All right? This is an example for one of our dear customers where they have all the time, they use the heat tracing in their skits. And of course, this is one of the examples for the electrolyzers where you have it for PEM containers. It's part of their skits. It doesn't operate. It operates perfectly fine, absolutely, when they have the heat tracing placed and designed within taking consideration their operating and process conditions. For the Dixo, for the dryer units, and of course, they will have other steam freeze protection lines, anti-condensation lines, etc. All right? So I hope we briefed you about the hydrogen value chain. Now you need to rethink a little bit. Is your value chain, is your processes within the hydrogen value chain, is it secured? Is it electrified with the electrical heat tracing? Where do you need still to work on? Please come and discuss with us. We are just right here at C104, and then we will try to help you out. Of course, like I said, also for your electrical power connection. And before I finish, I will come to a video where it gives you an overview about our installments and innovations.
Since 1972, RAYCHEM has been quietly going about its business. Mile after mile of our heating cables have been installed, under floors, on pipelines, within buildings, largely unnoticed until now. After all these years, it's time to get noticed. Although it's often out of sight, the impact of our unique self-regulating cable is there for everyone to see. By automatically adjusting the output of its thermal core as the temperature around it changes, it is making life flow smoothly around the world. It gives people warmth and comfort in their homes, and makes sure buildings are safely ice-free. Whether sports stadiums or schools, or even national monuments. It keeps production going by regulating the temperature and flow of business-critical fluids, from chemicals and hydrocarbons to pharmaceutical and food ingredients. It keeps airports, trains and metros running on time, whatever the weather. It keeps data centers humming, so our internet connections keep working, and it keeps the energy companies running. And as the world becomes more electrified, and those electrical networks and industrial systems need protection, our heating cables will continue to play a key role. And even if most people don't see it, we will be in there somewhere, making life flow smoothly for years to come.
Thank you, and see you at C104 for more discussions.